welcome to the South Bend Community School Corporation episode of TBH. I'm Ethan Hems.
And I'm Marisha Brown. 2/3 of Americans think race relations in the U.S. are generally bad, according to the Economist January 2021 poll.
From Black Lives Matter to immigration issues on the U.S. border to increased attacks on Asian Americans and more, we here at SBSC agree. That's why we chose race relations as our TBH topic. Bernardo Malone kicks us off with a look back at Black Lives Matter protests in South Bend.
Hundreds of people gathered in downtown South Bend for a Black Lives Matter peaceful protest Friday afternoon. The protest began at 6 p.m. with music and speeches.
The war is won. We will be sure.
If you want to see a change, you show up, you come, you help, you support.
Many grieving mothers took the stage pleading for justice for their loved ones.
Murder and recklessness. They found him guilty, not guilty, and acquitted of all charges. That's not right. I could be out here rampaging. I could commit my own attempted murder and recklessness. But this person was not charged with murder. They let her walk. Them walk. And I want justice for my son, and I'm gonna get justice for my son.
Demonstrators did march to the courthouse where members of the public had a chance to let their voice be heard.
When you go home and when you talk to your friends, please talk about this. Right now, every single one of you, metaphorically, you are standing on a page of history, and you should be proud of that.
I'm Bernardo Malone.
Brown versus Board of Education was a cornerstone of the civil rights movement. Producers Aaron Henderson and Melanie Sanchez take a look back at the historic event with the help of some Monroe Elementary School students.
It's been nearly 70 years since the Supreme Court's ruling on Brown versus Board of Education.
So we asked the students from Monroe Elementary to tell us the story.
The story of Brown versus Board of Education was a story of someone who's being treated very unfairly, and it was just because of their skin tone, they were treated differently.
So there once was a girl named Linda Brown, and she had to go to Monroe Elementary,
and she went to Monroe Elementary, the same school I go to.
She had to walk 6 blocks to her bus stop across several dangerous roads by herself. Well, not necessarily by herself, but they usually didn't come because they had work.
You walk home. That's almost like riding a school bus.
So she came back to her house and she told her dad.
And she had to go to school in an all-brown school because they had so much drama that they didn't want white and black people to be in the same school.
They only had to get split up because of their skin color, and that's wrong, so yeah.
But the school that was close to her was called Summerfield Elementary. And Summerfield was for the white students, but since she was black, she had to go to Monroe Elementary.
Well, his dad wanted to speak up so she doesn't have to travel through dangerous places and doesn't get hurt.
I wouldn't move. I'd stay homeschooled. I would say I have the right to go to the same school. I would say it's not fair. I read number about the fight of Brown versus I don't even know what they call it that. They started the Brown versus I think segregation. I can't remember the place, but it was one of the biggest. The Supreme Court. They named the case of the court after her family's last name.
They went to go see the judge and tell them their rights.
Because it wasn't fair to the black people had to go to a different school as the white people.
A lot of people said that they should be able to go to a safer place.
And I guess they made it like even, I guess you could say.
That's kind of messed up, but when they came together, that was good, because if it wasn't for her, we would be splitted up. I think it's a better law because now people don't have to get separated just to go to a specific school because of their race. And that's basically racist because it's not right to get them separated because they all need the same education and they're all the same people.
The Michiana Peace and Justice Coalition's weekly protest has been a part of South Bend's Monday rush hour traffic since before we were born.
The group focuses on peaceful resolution of conflict, from highlighting the shootings of Asian Americans in Atlanta massage parlors to the airstrikes in Palestine. TBH recently caught up with them to learn more.
Hands off Palestine! Hands off Palestine! Massive, from the Women's March to the Black Lives Matter to the stuff around the schools. There's a mass kind of concern among people to be people of justice.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
The Americans have been fooled and bushwhacked for so long that they think that what they are doing, supporting Israel, is the right thing. People are being killed, children are being killed, and people's lives have been lost. It is enough. We want peace. We want to be recognized as a people who have the right and the will to live. Right. We want to live, and we want to live freely.
If not, then at least feel bad in your heart about the injustices being done. Otherwise, we will have no faith. There will be no humanity left in us. So this is totally open injustice being done by the Israeli state and by the Zionists. So we need to speak up, at least, against the powerful, the state, that has the world's biggest open air prison. So this is not the voices of these few people in this gathering. This is the voices of the majority of the people who are being silenced.
If only the Palestinians would talk to us, there'd be peace. They have shown no interest in doing that. They are building settlements. They're encroaching on land. They're evicting people all over Jerusalem. This is not a government that is at all concerned with peace.
The river to the sea. Palestine will be free.
59% or more than half of Michiana's population growth between 2011 and 2016 was due to immigrants. La Casa de Amistad is one of the many community organizations that help immigrant families and youth. TBH's Mason Cuevas visited La Casa to learn more about their latest project.
Much has been accomplished in the past 3 months over at La Casa de Amistad since we last visited. Me and Andrew Messacar sat down with a volunteer to hear about his take on what's happening at La Casa de Amistad.
I'm Hispanic. I've been living in South Bend ever since La Casa de Amistad started, and they've come a long way. I like to consider myself a booster of the Hispanic community and the community at large, because this place, while it's understood to be primarily a Hispanic facility, it's really going to serve the whole community. There's almost no such thing as being too young or too old. Like I say, hardly any such thing as being too old. Everybody can get a piece of this.
We also sat down with the director of La Casa de Amistad, Sam Centellas, to hear about his take on the project so far.
So we actually budgeted around $200,000 we would save by doing work ourselves, and we've been hitting that target. We're averaging on almost any Saturday about 25 volunteers that come up and help. We've got fiber optic internet's going to be in this building, so fiber cables running through the walls to obviously the paint and the carpet and all the different detail work that went into making the spaces look presentable. We'll start operating out of the building in June. And so ideally June 1 we'll open at the building, but we'll still phase some things. So we won't actually start youth programming here till probably middle of June when our summer programs start, and we won't start adult programming till probably the fall, as we don't normally do a lot in the summer anyways. And by the fall, hopefully we'll be able to be face-to-face and doing more programming in the building.
Like I say, hardly any such thing as being too old. Everybody can get a piece of this.
I'm Mason Cuevas.
And I'm Andrew Messacar.
The term race relations is defined as interaction between members or communities of different races within one country.
TBH's David Saleh sat down with a group of students of different races from the 4 high schools with SBSC to discuss what teens are thinking and feeling about race relations in our country today.
Everybody's good. Okay, let's go around the room and identify one stereotype people think of when they see you or someone of your color.
My name is Ahmed Mohammed Jamal Mustafa. When people think of Arabians, they think of blowing things up.
My name is Bernard Kuti, and one stereotype people think is, okay, I live in a white neighborhood, so a lot of people don't think I live here.
My name is Evan Hernandez, and one thing that people think about me is when they see me, they automatically assume I'm a hippie for my long hair.
My name is Commander Jenkins, and one of my things that I think that people like think a lot is like when you're in a store or like in a gas station, and then you just got like one of their little managers just like following you around everywhere, like think you're gonna like steal something or something like that. And do you guys think that's like everywhere you guys go, like at the movies, at Walmart?
I think it's like more like if it's especially when you go out of like your city and you're in a like more of a majority populated place, they look at you as if like you're not supposed to be here.
I think it's like more like me alone. I think they would do it less, but like me, like just say if I bring like all of them with me, I think it would be like really crazy.
They will feel harmed or threatened by our presence just because we tall. Like,
I'm Blake Wesley. When people see me, they think I'm a privileged black boy because I live in the suburbs of South Bend. So, I mean, it's about three black people that live where I live. I live in a white community. And I don't really me and my parents talk about it all the time. I mean, I don't get like sad about it or anything because I know it's racist people in the neighborhood. I just keep going. I say hi once in a while, but not really because I know.
Has there been times where like people of different races like just think that because you look entitled that they can just like call you whatever they want and you'll be cool with it, or you wouldn't mind them being a little bit racist to you because like they think that you're on like their side kind of? Has that ever happened to you?
I mean, everybody has their own opinion, but as long as they're not like physically doing anything to me, words are words, so yeah.
Anybody agree with that? Just like they can say, like people should be allowed to say whatever because words are really words. Is that you guys think that's true?
I ain't going with it. I got different everyone because throughout the years, like the majority down the minority using words and using their like just basically through slavery. It's not cool because the words that were used through slavery is being used now.
I gotta say though, like I don't think any word should be outlawed. Like I don't think that someone should be going to jail because they used a racial slur. Right. But if you use a racial slur, like
to antagonize someone,
I believe there's just natural consequences. Like if you use that to someone, you have to understand that that person may lash out.
If they hit you,
that's what I'm like. That's what I'm saying. I also think if you use that racial slur against someone, that you should be like.
Have you ever thought of it like if a white person had an attitude towards another white person, their attitude would be taken lightly. But if people of our color had an attitude and would lash out, we're threatening their lives.
That ain't gonna change. I don't ever feel like that's gonna change. Because like, all right, you gotta think about it. They already look at everybody who's not white weird under them. No matter how much money we got, it don't matter.
When you say weird, are you just referring to people of like darker color or like all races?
All races. If you're not white, I feel like there's certain people that look at you and be like, look, bro, he's whatever stereotype you get.
From our descendants.
Like, okay, they see him, right? They gonna think you blowing some stuff up. They gonna see you, they gonna think, okay, yeah, he can't make it in life unless he play basketball. You feel me? They gonna look at me or they look at JB and be like, yo, you gonna be dead, you gonna be in the system, or you're not gonna succeed in life. You know what I'm saying? That's in the black community and the white community. And then it goes the same way about us saying like, oh, okay, yeah, we can say the N-word. Like, what's up, man? You know what I'm saying? We can do that. But they take it as, oh, they do it, so we should do it. So it's like, okay, so if If the roles were reversed, how would they feel?
We took the N word and used it
but
as
they
a
don't.
greeting between us, and white people take it as calling to call us.
Yeah, y'all using it in the wrong term.
That's the difference.
Cause think about it, bro. It's some white kids that say it, and half the time they know black people. You feel me? But they ain't gotta be like, oh, I know black people, or you know what I'm saying? It's just always those who do say it. You can always
have a
tell.
black best friend.
Yeah, like
then it's understood that sometimes like, it's like it's a word. Like, they just say it's a word. Okay, it's cool. It is a word. But when you're using it to antagonize someone who has a harder time in life than you with a different skin tone, you should understand where.
Because then we just said cracker or marshmallow or just start naming stuff. You feel me? It's funny. But you feel me? They'll start feeling like. Do you believe that if somebody uses that word to antagonize you and you end up reacting to them and like something happens, do you think who should be to blame? And them.
It depends how far it goes.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you lash out and you kill somebody,
even if they call you that, it depends on how you because you can laugh at them, you can talk to them and be like, hey man, don't call me that again, or you can.
But see, I don't understand why it's in our position. Why we gotta always take the extra step, but they can go lash out.
Why we gotta calm down?
What bothers me is whenever like you hear like about school shootings and things like that, and you hear it's a white person, they always say they must be mentally ill.
I got a question.
If I did that, then I'm a terrorist.
How do you feel?
When I ask you, what do people think of when they see you? I'm not just saying white people. I'm saying all people. Right. I feel like everybody kind of try to figure you out when they see you. You know what I'm saying? Not like more like accept you, but they based off of like, okay, this how his hair look, this how he talks, this how he does his hand gesture. You know what I'm saying? So like, we try to like kind of put it into a box to figure out how some people live. But some people just express it, and that's where they get wrong at. Okay. Everybody agrees with that. So do you feel like you go harder in life to kind of prove people wrong?
For sure.
I mean, I want to prove something. Like I want to prove my worth, basically. I want to prove that I'm like.
You got something to prove.
Exactly. So, do you like feeling like that? I mean, it keeps me motivated, keeps me energized, keeps me wanting to continue to do something every single day. And then that also gives me the opportunity to give back to people. And to, like my personal goal is to like help make others feel good about themselves, help motivate others to do great things, and that's what makes me feel great. So why don't you flip it? Like what you mean? Okay. So like in your situation, right? Why don't you show the hate that they give towards you? Because what good would that do?
There's two ways to take hate and like people putting you in a box and things like that. You can have a victim mentality, which I see a lot of people do, and they're like, it's basically just like setting themselves up for failure. Because if you start to believe what these people are saying about you and what they think about you, then it starts to happen. Right. It's all in your own head. So when someone calls me a g***er, it's just like, I know it's funny, but I've really been called this. Yeah. And like I can take it as like, oh my gosh, I'm getting bullied or this, or I can just say, I don't care. I don't care what people think. I don't care what people say about me. I don't care where they think I am in life. Because as long as I know I have to do it, like as long as I know what to do and I keep going forward, it doesn't matter.
What makes it harder to believe is that we can't control what type of skin tone we're on. We can't. Nobody can control that. We can't pick and choose what body we want to go into. That's not our choice.
If it's out of your control, don't worry about it.
So then why punish the people that couldn't control where they're from, what type of skin tone they have?
We all need to eat, which makes food universal and a great way for people of different backgrounds to come together. Aaron Henderson and Melanie Sanchez checked out Cultivate Food to learn more about what the organization does.
This food would have normally gone into the trash, but thanks to organizations like Cultivate Food Rescue, it instead goes into the mouths of families in need.
What we do is we take food that's been prepared but never served from places like event centers, banquet halls, universities, other schools. We bring that food back to this location here, and then volunteers come in and they put meals together with that food that we rescue.
So for Cultivate, I started as a board member 3.5 years ago, and as I started to learn more about the organization, I wanted to learn all the different parts, so I became a lead, which is when we lead a shift of actual volunteers.
In calendar year 2020, we rescued nearly 800,000 pounds of food. And all totaled, since we started this operation in the summer of 2017, we've rescued over 1 million pounds of food.
Many restaurants and food services closed over the last year due to COVID-19. So how has that affected their food donations?
Since the pandemic has occurred, we received quite a bit of unprepared food from different places as well. So in our kitchen, we're cooking that food. Protein, a vegetable, and a starch is put into each individual meal that's then sealed up and frozen. And then we get those meals out to food insecure students in the 3 counties.
And thanks to that food, they get a lot of emails from happy families, including healthy students.
So now a student can go to school well-nourished, fed, not hungry. They can focus and concentrate and do well in school.
For TBH, I'm Aaron Henderson.
The way you relate to the world is up to you. Here's Isaac Hernandez with a clip from his short film, Possibilities.
I think I'm gonna go home. Well, you can't really leave. Well, why not? Well, for starters, we're on a set. A set? Like a movie set? Yeah, look, there's a camera. Hi, camera. Well, I don't think that's gonna stop me. What the? I told you, can't really leave. So basically, I'm stuck here. Well, no, just have to think of the next scene. Next scene? Yes, the next scene, because you're running the show. Let me explain to you. You, my friend, are the director, the cameraman, the editor, and the writer. You are making all this in your head. So if I'm in control of everything, can I make you purple? Yes. Cool. So, what's the genre of this film? Now that is all up to you. Okay, so what about a comedy?
Minor? I barely know her.
I don't know, man. It seems kind of cringy. What about a horror film? Might not be our cup of tea. I got it. What about a mystery? It was a dark and stormy night. The boss man just gave me this newly developed case. Everything seemed normal at first until he unveiled this one critical detail. The murder weapon was a banana. That was amazing. You can think of anything and everything if you put your mind to it. Remember, you are the boss. This almost feels like a dream. Because it is a dream. What? Hi, it's me. You know, the director of this movie, the thing you just watched, Possibilities? Yeah. I don't know if most of you know this, but I filmed that with a purpose to show the audience, that if you put your mind to it, you can do anything and everything. And if I'm being honest, that could be applied to your daily life. You ever heard of the golden rule? Treat others how you would want to be treated. I think that's a pretty important rule. It's very easy, right? Well, it's pretty hard for other people in the world. For example, Black Lives Matters, the Atlanta spa shootings, and even immigrants. So take a stand. Please follow the golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated.
That about wraps it up for this episode of TBH. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ethan Hems.
And I'm Marisha Brown. Danuel Rodriguez Saldago takes us out with his music video to the song We All Live Together.